Hey everyone, and welcome along to Battle Report number 12 for the channel. This one puts me up against Hugh's Lizardmen again. You may remember I fought his Lizardmen a few games back. As I said in that, Hugh's a very good player. Was a Scottish Master last year. He's usually highly placed. He certainly finished higher than me in the last tournament. And this is very similar to the final list I'm taking on Saturday to the Fall of the Old World Tournament. So let's get to it. On my right flank, I have a unit of Sisters of Avalon with a Handmaiden who has a Reaver Bow. I have 5 Dark Riders. I have 25 Black Ark Corsairs with hand bows. I have a Noble BSB with Banner of the World Dragon. I have 20 Blackguard with a full command and a Sorceress who is level 2 to the lower metal. I also have Malekith the Eternity King. Scorn all you want, I'm not going to get to use them often, so I'm using them for this tournament. Anyway, I also have a unit of 20 Witch Elves in this list. I think it's 18 in my final list. And over here I have 5 Dark Riders and a Frostheart Phoenix. My opponent's deployment, on his left flank, he has nothing. In his centre, he has a unit of 10 skinks, 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 a unit of 20 skinks at the back. He has Teto Echo. He has a unit of 5 Cold One Knights represented by an... Sorry, 7 Cold One Knights represented by an empty movement tray because he forgot to bring his models. He has 2 Old Bloods on Cold Ones there as well. He has a Dread Saurine, which is his Carnosaur on a really large base there, which he will have finished up for Saturday, which is an ethereal dinosaur. So that was going to be a problem to take care of. I didn't have, which I think is toughness 7, so I didn't have much magical attacks other than maybe running Malekith into it and killing it off. Teto Echo's in there as well. Then over here he has another 20 skinks, then another 20 skinks, then another 10 skink skirmishers with his level 4 Slan, who I'm not going to mention any builds or spells or anything. And then he has another 10 skinks with another skink shaman. So, lots of skinks. Same as last time, lots and lots of skinks. I Vanguard up here, as you can see, and that's my only Vanguard move, so this is it, top of turn 1, and my opponent gets to go first. So after much shuffling and movement, his skinks all start running forward. They want to get close because they all have lots of poison javelin shots. Just see here, he's moving things around. Not too much happens in turn 1. He's out of range of shooting all of everything, I think. And he doesn't do much magic-wise. Magic wasn't great for him in the entire game, actually. So he didn't get much off there. We go into my turn, and I move up here. You can see my unit of Corsairs with the BSB. My Dark Riders and Malekith all move up there like that. My sisters come forward. It's quite a blurry picture actually, sorry about that. My Blackguard move forward and my Witch Elves move into the forests. Over here, my Dark Riders come over, hoping to chaff up that Dread Saurine a little bit. Take him out of the way. And my Frostheart Phoenix just pulls in behind my Witch Elves. My magic phase is a little better. I get about 9 dice, but it's effectively shut down, I think. I can't remember much that I got off. We then go into shooting, and I do a number on these skink, and that's pretty much all that happens in the shooting phase. Then we go into turn 2, so Hugh then starts to chaff everybody up. His skinks come running around here to take some shots at my Dark Riders. His Dread Saurine decides not to charge into my Dark Riders, he's going to just try and shoot those off and face in towards my Witch Elves, and we'll see what happens there. He rearranges things around here because he doesn't want me charging in against his Cold One Knights or killing off his Old Bloods. Everything's moving back the way, and it's all getting, just trying to make charges slightly more difficult for me. And you can see he's basically faced all his army towards the right flank where I have most of my things anyway. This is not a quite blurry picture, I do apologise again. So on his magic phase, he gets off Tempest on the Witch Elves, and it lands little off target because it doesn't, only hits about, I think, 5 or 6 of them. It wasn't too many. However, he does kill 5, so what can we do? -1 ballistic skill for my Witch Elves next turn, which makes no difference. I don't have to take a panic test because I'm frenzied. He also gets Hand of Glory on these skinks, so they increase their ballistic skill by 2, making them ballistic skill 5. So they shoot at my Dark Riders, killing off 2 of those. And we go into my turn 2. This is how the board's looking. As you can see, everything's sort of facing away. He's wanting to stay away from me, stand and shoot as much as he can. So over here, I charge the Blackguard into the flank of these couple of skinks. Now, the way my Witch Elves are, I could see the Dread Saurine, but I couldn't wheel without moving within an inch of those skinks. So I couldn't charge the Dread Saurine. My plan basically was to give them Enchanted Blades, make them magical attacks, which means I could wound the Dread Saurine, but unfortunately, that wasn't to be. So my Witch Elves are stuck like that. They reform a little. Nothing I can do. My Dark Riders over here charge into these skinks. I lose 1 to stand and shoot, but make the charge quite easily. Over here, originally I charged the first unit of skinks who elected to flee, and they fled and landed where they are, just between the another unit of skinks and behind the cold ones, and my Dark Riders redirected and got into the other unit. That's what happened. So on my turn, I move over here. I chaff up the Dread Saurine, or at least I think I'm chaffing it up. I'm stopping it from getting into the Witch Elves. Because it's ethereal, it has magical attacks. I have the Banner of the World Dragon in my unit of Corsairs, so it can't. I've got a 2-up ward save, so it won't do any wounds, and it will lose to combat res probably. So I'm not worried about that charging them. Over here, I just bring my sisters up a little more. They're sort of out the game at the moment, unfortunately. And Malekith comes down, so I'm basically trying to avoid the way he's got most of his army set up and see what I can do. We go over here, and my Phoenix just gets out of the way and is getting ready to charge up the left flank on his own, hoping to survive some poisoned attacks and make his way into combat. Now we'll see how that goes. Simply just another picture of me trying to chaff up the Dread Saurine. Over here, combat goes particularly well. I kill off about 5 skink. He kills one of my Dark Riders, and we'll stick around. So on to turn 3, and you will see this unit just filling up as we go out. We're sticking my dead cavalry units into it, just to make it look a bit like there's actually a model there. And at this point, he actually fails a stupidity test, which really was a big thing. So he stumbled forward about 3 inches and is stuck that way, so he couldn't move, he couldn't get his Old Bloods out of there to stop me being able to charge them with Malekith. Unfortunately, that was just a bit of bad luck. Over here, I kill off another couple of skinks, and I think I break and flee, or can't remember, but I think he may actually just kill them. He wins the combat, he kills them, and I failed my 2 armor saves. I rolled 2 1s, maybe that's what it is, and he just reforms to face the front. Over here, everything backs up slightly. Magic again wasn't great for him. He takes some shots at the Phoenix in the shooting phase, manages to put 2 wounds on him, and we then go into my turn 3. Sorry, as I should have said, his Dread Saurian, I think I forgot to take a picture of it, that's why I missed it, has moved round here and is now sitting at the flank of my Witch Elves, and his other unit is up, chaffing up both my Corsairs and my Dark Riders. So I start by charging a unit of skinks which flee, but I do manage to catch them. I catch them about there, and I turn to face this big unit of skinks, and if I'm lucky I'll survive another round of shooting and I'll be able to charge that unit. If I'm lucky. His little skinks over here managed to kill off my 2 remaining Dark Riders. Over here my Witch Elves decide to charge at the skinks in question there, and Malekith decides to charge the flank of the Saurus Warriors. Since it's sitting open, because I failed the stupidity test, so I charge straight into the flank, like that. I also bring up my Sisters of Avalon again, and I about face my Blackguard so that they are facing in at the Dread Saurian, and move my Sorceress out of that unit and into the unit with the Banner of the World Dragon, just to keep her protected. So we go into my magic phase, and nothing happens. Try to cast Enchanted Blades of Ivan on my Blackguard, which he lets go off. Obviously not planning on charging him with the Dread Saurian next turn then. And that's about all the magic phase does. In the combat over here, there's a challenge. Malekith challenges the Old Blood, and this Old Blood has a 1-up rerollable armor save and a 4-up ward. So I managed to hit him. I do 9 wounds. Sorry, I do 8 wounds. He makes 7 saves on a 4-up, 4-up, 4-up. And I then roll a 1 for my multi-wounds, so I only do 2 wounds. I do D3 plus 1 wounds, and I do 2 wounds altogether, meaning this stupid, stubborn Old Blood survives. So he survived 10 strength, 10 attacks with multi-wounds D3, 10 strength, 6 attacks with multi-wounds D3, as he managed to make an awful lot of armor saves. That's one tough Old Blood, and I was so disappointed. I thought Malekith would just evade him up no problem. He passes his leadership test, of course, because he's cold-blooded, and he swings about to face the front so that I'm no longer on the flank. The witches kill off the skinks and overrun, and we go into turn 4. So this is Hugh's turn 4, and he declares a charge with his Dread Saurian into the rear of my Witch Elves. It did look quite close, but we got the charge arc and the laser pointer out, and it actually turned out quite well in this picture, but you can see that he is well within range of that Dread Saurian. He doesn't need to take a dangerous terrain test because he's ethereal, so he goes straight into the back of my Witch Elves. So, not very good for them, because they can't do any damage back because he's ethereal. Wahey! He then shuffles everything around, brings some more shooters across. He once again wants to fire poison shots at my poor Frostheart Phoenix and kill it, of course. And he does another wound. After all his shooting, he only does 1 more wound. Unfortunately, he also positioned his slant and other 2 units in such a way that I can't fit in there. So if I do charge into I'm in the slant's flank if I want to charge it, but I can't close, or I can't fit my base in because of those other skinks. Very smart play. So he has offered up flanks, but I can't fit in through my base size. So that allows him to keep facing towards Malekith, and he did switch out one of his spells at one point to Searing Doom, so he was hoping Malekith would be out of combat and maybe get some magical attacks against him. But it wasn't to be. Malekith's still in combat because of the stupid Old Blood that survived. He then fires some shots at my Sisters of Avalon, killing off 5 of them. Malekith then gets into combat, into the next round of combat, and Malekith finishes off this stupid old blood. But the Cold One Knights stick around as Lizardmen are wont to do. And the Dread Saurine does a number on the Witch Elves. However, I do have 6 models left, and they are steadfast. So they make their test. No longer frenzied, however, but wasn't like they could actually hurt it anyway. And the Phoenix, you can see his base moves in there. The Phoenix had survived, so he charges in, survives the stand and shoot, as he was on 60s to hit, so basically any hits were poison, but between my armour and my ward I was able to save them. So I get in there and I'm going to try and stomp those skinks to death. Over here I charge the Corsairs into the side of this Dread Saurine, just to try and save the Witch Elves. My sisters move up and shoot off a few skinks, or hoping to shoot off a few skinks. Magic phase, again, not much gets off. I fail to get off Enchanted Blades again, so I can't hurt the Dread Saurine in combat, so I need to beat it on combat res. And over here I do shoot at the skinks, and they fail their panic test and run to the edge of the board. After that, we go into combat. He declined the challenge with his old blood, and I only managed to kill 4 of the Cold One Knights. Now, because of that, I'm stuck in this combat again, which I suppose I can live with. But I really wanted to finish them off so that I could charge with Malekith next turn, but we'll see how that goes. In this combat, I don't kill too many, but they don't do any wounds in return. Over here, the Dread Saurine, between stomps and attacks, only manages to kill 1 Witch Elf. So fails, he loses to combat res. My Corsairs elect not to chase it. My Witch Elves chase after it and fail to catch it, which is unfortunate. It means we're in his turn and he can try and rally. Over here, I managed to wipe out some skinks. In fact, they took a panic test because they were close. Did they take a panic test? I can't remember whether I shot them, but I killed off however many were left in that unit. In the magic phase, yeah, I'm not sure, but this is the next combat against his other old blood. So the second old blood steps up for the challenge, and I do 6 wounds, of which he saves 4 on his 4-up armour save, and saves a shed load more, and I don't actually kill it in 1 round of combat again. So that's 2 Saurine old bloods that are going to have held Malekith up for a total of 4 combat, 2 full turns of, or 2 full player turns, 4 combats, and Malekith is stuck fighting a couple of old bloods. Oh, he's supposed to be the best fighting character in the game and can't kill off a couple of stubborn old lizards. What can you do? Over here, we go into his turn. His skinks like not to charge me. They come around the back of my Witch Elves, hoping to kill off the last few, of which they only managed to get a couple. The Frostheart Phoenix stomps a few more skinks. They're steadfast. They stick around. And this is how things look going into my turn. I think this is my turn 5. So my sisters move up and fire a few more shots at some skinks. My Witch Elves charge the Dread Saurine, who failed his leadership test last turn and failed to rally. I didn't realise it was a really low leadership. I think it's only leadership 5, so it failed to rally. I charge it and I fail to catch it, but it does run, and it only reaches the end of the board. It doesn't get all the way off. Over here, I use Malekith's Incarnate of Shadow ability to move my Corsairs up as far as I can, so that I can try and get some more points with their handbows and get as many shots in as possible. Once again, my magic phase is a bust, and I get, on the shooting phase, I wipe most of this unit out, however it passes its panic test. So Tetueco and Slan are still in there. And over here, the sisters kill all but 2 of the skinks over there. However, they manage to pass our test and stick around. Frostheart Phoenix kills some more of these. Unfortunately, there's still 5 of them left. They are steadfast. And that's that. Malekith finally manages to kill the second Old Blood. And there is now one cold one left there to be taken care of. And this is a picture of how close the Dread Saurian was to running off the table. Yep, you can see it right, it was millimetres away. It was a shame because it's actually quite a lot of points. But what will be, as they say. And these skinks move around here to take some more shots at my Witch Elves, just in case they don't manage to kill the 3 of them with shooting. They also chaff them up, so I can't chase that Dread Saurian off the board, because he failed to rally again. And over here, his skinks move up, and he moves Teto Echo and his Slan out of the way, just so that the Frostheart Phoenix has no way of actually getting into them. Over here, there's some skinks shooting at my... There's a little skink that's left. I don't know where he came from. I think he was 1 left in a unit. He comes round and he's going to have his javelin thrown at the Witch Elves as well. These guys move up. Don't really know what the point in this was, because the Handmaiden's in there, I've got moving fire. I will just turn around and shoot them. As I said, they were moving out of the way, so I couldn't get into the Slan with combat and kill them off. They finally managed to shoot down my last 3 Witch Elves, and in combat I kill off the last Cold One Knight and reform. We go into my turn, and I move up to shoot this unit off the board, trying to get points for killing off the last 10 of those skirmishers. Malekith moves across. At this point, since this is the last turn of the game, I am thinking I'll try and drop a Pit of Shades on the Slan and try and get the points for it. It's the only thing I can really do. And there's a Skink Shaman at the back, which I elect to move the Handmaiden out of this unit. The sisters about face to shoot at the 2 skinks that are left. That's my Handmaiden moved across with her Reaver Bow. She's hoping to just kill off that little shaman. And into the magic phase, my Pit of Shades fails to go off, and that's that. So I don't get the Slanner, I can't get the points for Teto. The sisters shoot off these 2 skinks, get the points. And this was my shooting roll to wound the skinks with my handbows. I was on 3s to wound. I only needed to kill 10 of them. And I get 2, 4, 6, 8 wounds, and I roll 10 1s and 2s. Oh my god. My rolling wasn't great this game. But I'm hoping to get all the bad rolls out before I actually go to the tournament. Maybe I'll have good rolls there. If only life worked like that. And my Handmaiden manages to kill off the Skink Shaman. 3 strength, 5 attacks from the Reaver Bow is quite powerful, so I didn't really expect that to survive, so more points. The Frostheart Phoenix finally manages to kill off the last skink and turns to not face anything, and the game ends there. So I won this game by a fair few points. Just killing all his skinks seemed to work. He didn't take too many points from me. He got the Witch Elves and 2 units of Dark Riders. That was all. And I managed to get his Cold Ones, his 2 Old Bloods, several units of skinks, and a couple of skink shaman characters. And in this tournament, for every character that you kill, you get an extra 100 victory point. So overall, I think this ended up like a 6. I want to say a 16-6 maybe. Can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was a 16-6 victory for myself, which I'm not complaining about. It's the first time I've ever beaten Hugh. Quite a hollow victory considering I'm using Malekith the Eternity King, but I'll take it. It's a victory nonetheless. And I have one more practice game against Orcs and Goblins for this weekend. I'll try and get that up tomorrow or Friday. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.